The unsurpassed, penetrating and perfect truth is seldom met with, even in 100,000 myriad kalpas. Now we can see and hear it. We can remember and accept it. I vow to make the Buddha's truth one with myself. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. Okay, I'm going to see if I get rid of this little frog right away here. Although I like frogs. So thank you all for being here today. On lovely days like today, I often wonder, well, you all could be outside looking at the spring flowers and doing any number of things, so I'm really grateful that you're here. And in preparation for this talk today, I realized I'm basically giving this talk to myself. To say out loud the teachings, those teachings I'm doing my best to learn from. So I express my gratitude for this opportunity and pray that everything will teach me, that the resistance will dissolve into genuine acceptance. I also trust that you will find what your heart is searching for today. So this Dharma talk's primary sources are my own experience, an article written about Great Master Keizan by Reverend Master Berwin of Throstle Hole, or Reverend Master Hubert's translation of Great Master Keizan's How to Do Pure Meditation, and a book I've always been fascinated with that's called The Vision of Power by Bernard Fowler. I'm sure it's pronounced some more French way than that, and I'd like to add that this Vision of Power book has 22 pages of primary sources in its bibliography, so I had to keep a dictionary by me every page I would have to consult it. So I didn't get through the book cover to cover, but I did really enjoy what I did read. But there's one thing that's very certain, is that the scholars of Zen history, they all agree that virtually all the old records of Zen are at least partially suspect. So we just celebrated the festival of the birth of the greatest ancestor, Keizan. It is said Keizan was born in 1268 and spent the first 8 years growing up under the care of his grandmother, Mochi. She was one of Great Master Dogen's first supporters on his return from China. He lived during the Kamakura era of Japan, so called because of the long period of conflict between rival families. For me, it helps to understand Great Master Keizan's writings if there's some contextual clues about what was happening in the culture. It seems to me that training in medieval Japan, which I know nothing about, encouraged Keizan to be an original and intuitive thinker, as he stood at the crossroads of various traditions. I believe the words to describe Keizan's process might be more appropriate to say it's like an art exhibition. Great Master Keizan's works reflect and maintain a tension between two fundamental opposite realms of thought, the two truths, the ultimate truth and conventional truth. He lets them play together and he lets them play against each other. Keizan succeeded Great Master Dogen in the fourth generation after Great Master Dogen's death. Great Master Keizan is said to have died in 1325. So in those 57 years, Great Master Keizan established ordination ceremonies of the Bodhisattva precepts for his supporters. He also offered funeral ceremonies, which included a form of ordination and receiving the precepts, something unheard of in China at the time. Ordinary people were offered something normally reserved for aristocrats and monastics. These funeral ceremonies were very important in establishing Soto Zen in rural communities in Japan at that time. The value of ceremonial, as Master Ban was referring to earlier in her dedication, as moving meditation, said to have come from Great Master Keizan, is inseparable from meditation itself. We still have our ceremonial guided by Great Master Keizan's genius. So we're very fortunate. And I love this picture of him over here in particular. He's all set for ceremonial, so it's just like Great Master Keizan founded Sojuji, the temple that eventually became the institutional head of 4 regional networks with several thousand temples under them. Great Master Keizan's efforts to encourage the training of women in Buddhism was unheard of at that time also. The 8th century monk Kukai summed up the general outlook of women as, "Women are the root of evil and destroy all dharmas." Well, luckily for us, Keizan didn't believe that. In his lifetime, he regarded the support from his grandmother and mother as vital to his own training. We are all grateful to Great Master Keizan to this very day. He constructed a nunnery, Dare-yokuji, which was his first monastery, the Eternal Light, and made sure funds were allocated for its continual survival. If I understand correctly, 5 monasteries for female monks were established by Keizan. Another clear indicator of Great Master Keizan's commitment to training women is he named Sonyin, wife of the original donor of Yokuji, as his Dharma heir. So we find Keizan as a combination of strong poetic vision with a practical mind. And he has several works that he are known for: the Record of Tokoku, the Denkuroku, and Zanzen Yojinki. Hopefully there'll be a fact check later on those pronunciations. The Record of Tokoku covers accounts of the origins of the land that for Keizan's first monastery, Keizan's autobiography, and the biographies for his 4 predecessors, along with various other poems, sayings, and sermons of Keizan. It is unknown whether the revised edition in 1415 became a work of propaganda to authenticate a certain lineage at the expense of another lineage by zealous copyists of Great Master Dogen's after Great Master Dogen's death. I better take another breath. That's better. As with many Buddhist scriptures and sutras, whether these are really Keizan's work or his disciple, what seems important is what's useful information we can draw from them. I'm sure most of us are familiar with his work of the Denkuroku, where Keizan brings the life of our ancestors into clear focus. The particular way in which the truth was transmitted varied according to the conditions and people involved. The diverse, unique expression of the truth in each generation is a teaching in itself, pointing us to the all is one and the all is different. And lastly, Zanzen Jojinki, known to us as How to Do Pure Meditation, was a collection for how his first new temple, Yokuji, should be run. The concept of meditation practice can be difficult to explain without actually experiencing it. So I'm grateful for the instructions that both Great Master Keizan and Great Master Dogen left us. It goes without saying that faith and trust do not require you to understand everything. Consistent stillness and open acceptance without judgment helps immensely, however. The instructions on how to do pure meditation by Great Master Keizan is based on Great Master Dogen's rules for meditation, yet clearly exhibits Keizan's expansive thought processes. There are some distinctly different instructions, interesting contrast between Keizan and Dogen's instructions for meditation. And we also hear the echoes of Dogen's familiar teachings, very familiar teachings. How very fortunate we are to have a practice that is characterized by the lack of division of the universe into visible and invisible, physical and non-physical, rational and non-rational, human and divine, true and illusory. Both masters recorded important visions that influenced the direction of their training. They both warned against seeing visions or unusual spiritual experiences as the goal of the practice. Reverend Master Hubert states whether detrimental or beneficial, in neither case is attachment to such things warranted. The matter of visions in an area where the wise discernment of an experienced master is invaluable. So maybe I'll just do an aside there that both I mean, Keizan is known for making decisions off of visions that he had. And I believe that would be the same with Master Dogen as well. So we're just going to actually take a moment to look at the how to do pure meditation that great Master Keizan wrote. And I want to do this by trying to read the first few paragraphs to you because they are really succinct and it really gives an idea what Keizan was like to me. It goes like this. Pure meditation opens us up so that we may directly realize the foundation of our mind and dwell content within our own Buddha nature. This is called displaying our original face. It is also called revealing the landscape of our original nature. Body and mind both drop off, with no clinging or sitting up or lying down. Hence, there are no discriminative thoughts of this is good or this is bad. You readily go beyond thoughts and of this worldly or of this saintly. You penetrate into and go beyond the multitude of notions and theories about delusion versus enlightenment. You leave far behind the boundary between ordinary beings and Buddhas. Therefore, you cease to pant after myriad phenomena and let go of all attachments to them. While sitting in pure meditation, cut yourself free of heaven and earth. Your whole being is as a solitary drop of dew. I wholeheartedly encourage all of you to read Great Master Keizan's instruction, and just in case this doesn't happen, I'll just read a little more to you. From the first, the wondrous, pure, bright, original nature immediately appears before one's eyes. One light, continuing from the first, ultimately becomes fully illuminating. The waters of the ocean are all without increase or decrease. Likewise, the waves and billows have no withdrawing or turning back upon themselves. Thus all Buddhas have appeared in the world for the sake of the reason, for the one great matter for which we train. Straightway, they help sentient beings open up spiritually and see the way to go, that they may awaken and know Buddha. Great Master Keizan immediately presents to us some of the benefits and effects that you may experience while meditating in his How to Do Meditation. He extends meditation scope to include developing the kinds of attitude based on the Buddha's teaching. It seems one of his main points is by consistently practicing meditation, sitting still long enough, we may recognize the truth. Great Master Keizan cautions us against overthinking or falling into comparative thinking. We are constantly changing and adapting. And if you're unsure about this, just look in the mirror. He speaks to our body, he speaks to our mind. There is just mind, just body. Do not speak of them as being different or as them being alike. Hence, the mind is like the ocean's water, the body is like the billowing waves. Just as there is no trace of the wave outside the ocean's water, so there is not a single drop of water outside of or apart from the billowing waves. Water and the wave have no separate existence. Movement and rest are no different. Hence it is said that the true person of birth and death, coming and going, the indestructible body of the four elements and the five skandhas, is the one who now sits in meditation, who straightway enters the ocean of Buddha nature, and accordingly manifests the embodiment of the Buddhas. I am really opening my heart fully to Great Master Keizan's writings now, and it really strikes a chord for my wish to be more diligent, more mindful, patient, gentle, and tolerant. I'm going to just read one more paragraph that he says, just sit without doing anything. This is essential. This is essential technique for practicing pure meditation. Customarily, you should rinse your eyes and wash your feet before sitting. Make your body quiet, body and mind quiet, and be well regulated in your deportment at all times. You must discard worldly feelings and not cling to emotional attachments to the way. Although you should not be stingy with the Dharma, even so, do not give voice to it if you're not asked, keeping to the triple request. Follow the Four Noble Truths, 10 times having the urge to speak, let 9 go past. Let the moss grow around your mouth. Be like a fan in midwinter, or like the wind chime hanging in space, which does not query which way the wind blows. Such are the weather vanes for the one who would tread the way. It is enough to have the Dharma. You need not crave for anyone. It is enough to have the way. You need not add self-praise. This is the prime point to heed. So I asked myself, when was the last time I consistently attempted to grow moss around my mouth? This is my new experiment. So about a month ago, I officially was catapulted into this very thing when I began to prepare for this talk. As it turns out, it's a great experiment, one of restraining a recurring thought or thoughts, views, or opinions one more time than having the urge to give voice to it. I am reevaluating what is good to do when I actually get to the magic number 9. It doesn't always work that way, but I'm shooting to not speak 9 times when I think about it, and when the 10th time comes, see if it's still a good idea or start over. No one said this practice is easy, and I will say that it's well worth the effort. So far, this experiment has been a transformative experiment, dotted with mountains of pure joy, valleys lush with muck, and a few shocking moments of elaborate consequences. And I am grateful for the continued help of all the Buddhas and ancestors, and of course Ranger, my kind and gentle companion. It's hard to describe how odd things appear. It's almost like a prescribed burn where you did not light the fire. Expectation steeped in silence. Tense, hard resistance, momentarily dissolved, giving me a clear shot of staying in the present moment without running away. It may not seem like much, and it is a glimpse that reinforces my meditation. It encourages me to continue to purify my karma, my karmic obstacles. I am content with the blessings of my life. My head knows it is enough to have the way. My heart stays open, so no doubt it knows too. So my intention is to be keen. So I'm taking a clear look at my awareness and what I'm actually paying attention to. What am I doing? What am I saying with my mind and my body? This is a long-standing work in progress, one of joy and gentleness and very humbling. And there is a second part of the experiment, which also comes from Great Master Dogen, and that is make your body and mind quiet and well regulated in your deportment at all times. So anybody who knows me, I've been working on this for a while, and it may not look I've made progress, but I'm pretty sure that I at least take one step after the other, so that's an encouragement. So deportment is something that is also on my experimental list. We all have the opportunity to dedicate ourselves to our spiritual well-being, to train with the attitude of helping others and oneself. Great Master Keizan appeals to our intuition, our sense of experiencing the Dharma with no words. In meditation, there is no further need for all the trappings of Zen practice. There is a reality not created by labels or convention, seeing things as they really are with compassion, wisdom, and a quiet mind and body. So I'm going to just read one last thing, and this is out of the Denkaroku, which is quite a work of art by Ren Master Keizan. And in the introduction, Ren Master Jiyu talks at length about Keizan, but what I'd like to read is what she says at the very end of the introduction. Because of clinging to life as the world understands it, there is rebirth and a constant being born here and dying there. When we know for certain that there is no separate self, because we are one with the unborn, the undying, the uncreated, the unchanging, then there is indeed no rebirth on the wheel of becoming. Because of our memories of what happened in this lifetime, there is a time of birth and of actions of this lifetime of death. However, when we understand our oneness with the unborn, the undying, the uncreated, the unchanging, birth and death are merely positions in time as created by man. They are no longer important for the one. They are no longer important for to be one with the unborn, the undying, the uncreated, the unchanging, is to be in timelessness, eternity. It is we ourselves who cause our own rebirths, born here and dying there. As Keizan says, we are, and with us we take our good and bad karma. So long as there is guilt, there is karmic repayment. When there is all acceptance, although the law of karma is inexorable, there is indeed no doer who does the deed, and no one who feels the fruit. This is to be one with the unborn, the undying, the uncreated, the unchanging. Thank you.